Welcome everybody to the newest episode of the Zero Budget Podcast live. Matt, what the fuck are you doing?
My hair was bothering me.
So why did you decide to comb it like that instead of just sliding your headphones down a little bit?
What was that?
Instead of sliding your headphones down?
So anyways, welcome to the new episode of the Zero Budget Podcast.
No, I'm the fucking dude. Come on. What the hell? First you wake up late for the show, then you are muted on stream.
I didn't choose that. I didn't do that on purpose.
Yeah, but it's something that happened because of your contributions.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Anyways, welcome everybody to the newest episode of the Zero Budget Podcast live. I, of course, am your glorious leader, your wonderful figure of authority, Juptej Singh. With me, as always, is my servant, the highest ranking member of the peasantry class, Matthew Hanks. Matt, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. This week has been a lot better in the news cycle, at least. It's a lot slower.
Yeah,
it's been
a lot slower, which is...
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily been slower. Just a lot of the stories have felt the same.
Yeah, it could be a sign of our ignorance, or it could be a sign that maybe things are getting good. Maybe we can go back to brunch. Who knows?
We started worrying about COVID again. So, I mean, like, that's how you know.
Yeah, I can't tell. Are we, like, obviously, like, in reality, we're anti-brunch, but are we, our personas, anti-brunch, action, or pro-brunchists?
What do you mean, persona?
Our personas, our on-stream personas.
Oh. We kind of had this conversation before where I'm not necessarily pro-brunch, but I'm not like anti-nap, you know? I don't want to worry what Trump is doing every 2 seconds of every day, you know, which is one thing I think you'll at least get out of a Biden presidency. So, but that's a whole another discussion for a whole nother day, really.
Am I confused? Is brunch a metaphor?
Yes.
No, we're talking about the physical action of brunch, the literal interpretation of brunch. We're talking about lib shit, basically. Like, a lot of fucking libs on Twitter have been just fucking celebrating in the fact that once Biden gets elected, they can finally go back to not giving a shit about the working class, or not giving a shit about what the president does, which is gross and the reason why we got Trump in the first place. So in reality, we're big time anti-brunch action. And you know what? I don't know where I'm going. Matt, you say something productive.
All right, this time I'm going to lay down the bad news for this week. Trump's coup de shit is going, you know...
Got him again!
Got him. 2 for 2. Can't stop him, even though it's the same joke. But he fired... This was pretty big, I think, earlier this week. He fired Mike Esper, the defense secretary, and then I think 4 others from the Pentagon. I think a couple of them were from the Navy and then a couple from the Army. There's some top officials. He was replacing them with loyalists. Shocker. But it came out during on Veterans Day. The chairman of the Chief of Staffs, of the Joint Chiefs of Staffs, General Mark Milley, I don't know what his last name is. He was quoted saying, "We do not take an oath to a king or a queen, a tyrant or a dictator. We do not take an oath to an individual." So that was kind of in reference. He was kind of talking about the uniqueness of the U.S. military in the sense that, you know, they're allowed to define the president if they want to, I guess. And I guess that was General Mark's signaling, I guess, that he won't probably do anything, at least domestically. So, you know, he probably won't shoot protesters, which is good.
More than we can say for the president.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Mike Esper. He's a neocon.
Or in other words, a fascist.
Yeah, but he told Trump that you're not allowed to use the Insurrection Act on protesters.
Yeah. Yeah,
and he also won.
I don't think anybody was really like considering the possibility of a military coup. I think like the military, like maybe not the actual members of the military, but at least the higher ranking officials like fucking hate Trump. So I wasn't really too concerned about the military aspect of it. I was more concerned about the legal aspect of it, but good news on that front, which we'll get to later. But please continue, Matthew.
I mean, there's not too much to that. In some of other high-ranking areas, Mike Pompeyich. No, that didn't work.
Got him.
Yeah, Mike Bitch.
Whoa, Matt's unhinged.
He straight up said, I think a reporter was talking about how dangerous it possibly is for national security to delay the transition with the Biden administration. And then Mike Pompeo was like, there'll be a smooth transition into a second Trump administration.
Yeah, that was fucking scary.
And then apparently a lot of people in the State Department were a little upset by that, and even other foreign diplomats. It was really, I think Boris Johnson gave a speech on the British Parliament floor yesterday where he straight up said, yeah, I called up Joe Biden. What about it?
Yeah, fascists are just really not good at the optics game.
He's just not doing a good job right now.
Yeah. Speaking of optics, fucking hold on, let me pull something up here. Entertain the people, would you?
So yeah, I think I don't know if you want me to go into the legal stuff that he's done so far.
Don't go into that yet, because I
will not go into legal stuff then. Just some fun tidbits. I don't think we're going to really cover this too deep depth, but multiple places now fully call the race. All 50 states. I think places like the CNN, the New York Times, etc., have officially called it, and it's confirmed to be 306 to 232, which is, fun fact, the same margin in 2016 that Trump won by, and Trump jerked his little orange bit off.
Oh my god!
That it was a landslide.
Oh my god! That fucking image is so grotesque.
It is. So I guess Biden won in a landslide, guys. I mean, it's undisputable. I think it's quite immature of the Trump campaign to say that to not concede, you know. And I really do think they should take a lesson and just concede, you know.
Oh, sweet irony that it's the same number. True. Honestly, true. And we can pull up some fucking Trump supporters from 2016 talking about how glorious that was. But
there's that Daily Show clip that's going around of all the Fox News, like, oh, Hillary Clinton's being a sore loser, and then all of them are just like, no, who has a chance?
Yeah, this is the Marxist Bidenist celebration stream. Here's hold on, let me. No, that's covering my face. Hold on, why is it covering my face? Yeah, we're talking about this. It's still covering my face, and somebody followed, and I don't even know who it is. But anyways, this little guy right here, little Rudy Giuliani, everybody had to have heard about this. The Trump campaign wanted to book the Four Seasons, but they booked the Four Seasons. What was it? Like a landscaping company. And I just love the idea that somebody at this little rinky-dink ass landscaping company heard the Trump campaign, call them up, knew exactly what they were talking about and exactly who they were trying to reach, and just said, yes, that is us. And took the deal. That's amazing to me. So they're at the side of this fucking garage holding this press conference where Rudy Giuliani is mauling at the fact that Trump lost. It's so beautiful.
Oh, Giuliani.
Oh, Giuliani.
What is there to say to Giuliani besides go away?
That's it. I mean, fucking Borat caught him in that position and nothing happened. So I guess he's a little devil boy. He's just around to stay.
You think Giuliani's going to run in 2024?
Why the fuck would Giuliani run in 2024? Why the fuck would Giuliani run?
I mean, he tried a presidential run in, I think, 2008, and that didn't go well.
Giuliani is so fucking disgusting, dude. He's so fucking gross. But yeah, seeing my favorite thing from like the past like couple weeks has just been seeing Trump supporters absolutely cope with this loss harder than any cope in previous years. They're struggling so hard to understand the fact that maybe they just took an L this time.
They took an L one time and they just can't deal with it.
Have you seen the TikTok cringe? There's there's a whole bunch of shit going around on TikTok where it's like Trump supporters with their they got their fucking flags and they got their Trump banner and all that kind of shit, and then they just slowly fold it up with like a sad song playing in the background, and then they're like, and the caption says something like, "Well, Joe Biden, you did it. Congratulations. I'm gonna be the bigger man," or some shit like that.
Like, okay.
Yeah, or let's all try to get through the next 4 years together as America. And it's like, you don't get to support a fascist, and then when your candidate loses, you can be like, well, hey guys, we're all American here, you know? Hey. I hate this trend because it's just, and you see like all these fucking libs in the comments like, yeah, America, yeah, Biden won, or some shit like that. And it's like, Trump supporters, I've said this so many times, Trump supporters want nothing more than for their positions to be normalized, right? Than for their positions to just be like, hey, we just have a difference of opinion. You know, we can all get along. And all these fucking TikToks with these dumbass Trump supporters doing that, and like the both sides shit just serves that agenda. Like their positions are more and more normalized until eventually, not even eventually, until they're committing genocide at the border, and everyone's like, hey, that's just, hey, well, they're illegal. Yeah. It's fun.
I saw this really interesting take on Twitter. So you know it's going to be a good. Basically, this one dude is just like, oh, Biden's cabinet is going to be filled with like corporatists and yada yada yada. And it's just like, but I guess we voted fascism out, so good job us. And I was just like, bro, chill. Like, I'd rather take a Democrat who has some corporatists and Pete Buttigieg in his cabinet.
Yeah.
Over, you know, inarguably an authoritarian at minimum. So
would you say Biden's an authoritarian? I mean, obviously, no. Like he falls into the authoritarian spectrum. He's not a libertarian by any means. But would you say he's like an authoritarian? Would you classify him as that?
Because I mean, authoritarians still, like, especially modern day strongmen, still need a few things. Generally, a display of strength. I don't know. Maybe Biden's run at his victory speech is his display of strength. But you know, Biden is too liberal on IR issues, and I use liberal in the international relations way, not in like the political meaning way. Mm-hmm. So he likes to work with the world and stuff. He generally isn't like too like he's American exceptionalism, but not like in the like I don't know,
a racist way.
Out. Yeah, he's more like, hey, we can like do anything except Medicare for all. We can't do that. Yeah. Can't do that, or the Green New Deal.
Fuck. I'm so sad. Anyway. I'm so sad. We're so fucked. No, dude, the next 4 years, right? Like, just imagine. When we're
there actually is. Oh,
go ahead.
There is some good news coming out of the Biden administration's first 100 days, but we'll get to that later. Right. I think it's at least rhetorically pretty good. I don't know if he'll be able to get any of it done.
Bernie's are better.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah.
But what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, the next 4 years, right? The closer and closer we drift towards climate change doom, like the literal fucking apocalypse. We have no real wide-sweeping climate reform plan. I mean, his is arguably better. I mean, not arguably. His is better than Trump's, but it's nowhere near good enough, right? And we have no public health care to account for the people that are definitely going to experience more health issues in regards to climate-related illnesses. We're so fucked.
I do actually. One interesting thing about the Green New Deal, I think a lot of people do forget, is that at least the original proposition made by AOC was never actually truly a policy piece, but more a resolution to acknowledge that we need to make drastic changes. And I think Biden kind of looked, at least when Biden was collaborating with Sanders, they looked at that and they're like, all right, we can at least make some like good changes on a moderate scale. Stuff like, I think, does he want to get to net zero carbon footprint by 2030 or something else?
I remember it being net zero, but I can look it up right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then, yeah, I don't know.
Plan for climate change and environmental justice. Oh, they're asking me to donate. Fuck off. You already won, ugly bitch. Joe Biden knows that there's no greater challenge facing our country than climate fucking cool. Oh my god. Ensuring the US achieves a 100% clean energy economy and net zero emissions no later than 2050.
Oh, come on.
That's so fucking insane.
I think even Northam did 2035.
Yeah, because we need to hit the ground running with this shit. It can't. Holy shit, dude! 2050.
It's too late, It's over at that point. GG.
I remember them saying something like, "We need to cut our carbon emissions by like 73% in the next like 15 years or something like that."
Which I don't even think it's impossible, honestly.
It's not.
It's very probable.
It's so weird not to want to invest in green energy. It's so fucking weird. We all know this isn't going to last. We all know this isn't going to last. There's no fucking way fossil fuels are going to last us into the future. We learned this in 3rd grade. Renewable energies. Fossil fuel is not a renewable energy. We're going to run out. Why don't you want to invest in something that's more sustainable?
And I mean, also because obviously the people who peddle to not do Green New Deal-esque policies are getting a bunch of money from oil and coal industries. But I'm kind of thinking why don't you want to take money from a new robusting company that's going to come out, big solar is going to be a thing, big water is going to be a thing, big nuclear will probably be a thing, It's you could hit the ground running on that and probably make bank because you're going to know some things that will influence the stock market.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's never made sense to me, even on the senatorial level.
It's so fucking strange because even if you ignore the climate change argument, right? Even if you're climate change isn't real or whatever, this is new technological innovation that's going to carry our society into the foreseeable future. Renewable energy is literally the only way we can survive as a species into the near future. Again, fossil fuel will not last. We all know this. 3rd graders know this. I remember the lessons about this in my 3rd grade class. Everyone knows that fossil fuels don't I remember I think Vosh made this argument. I can't remember where he said something imagine if in the turn of the century in the 1900s when cars were first being invented, big horse carriage was pumping money into the Senate and they were no, we don't want this, please stop, or whatever. Why are you halting innovation for I guess Mitch McConnell is a fucking old dying ghoul, so he needs every dollar he can get to make his last 5 years of life livable, but it's so fucked. It's insane.
So I think that actually kind of brings us into the next thing I want to talk about, which is Biden's 100-day platform. It's generally positive, but this is reporting from NPR. A lot of good news for students, let me tell you. So obviously things he wants to do before or on day one are basically all COVID related. Not shocking. Biden's already named his chief of staff, which I forgot his name, but he was Biden's chief of staff when he was vice president.
Let me look him up.
He was also the Ebola czar during the Ebola outbreak.
We had a czar?
Yeah. We usually appoint a disease-related czar when there's an outbreak.
Biden's chief of staff. Oh, I found an article. What Joe Biden's choice for chief of staff says about the presidency. Very good. CNN. Thank you.
Thank you.
Blah blah blah. Get to it. Klain.
Oh.
Who is Klain? Klain who?
Oh, Robert Klain. That's
Robert
his name.
Klain. Gotcha.
Yeah, he was. I think he was even the chief of staff for Al Gore. So he's been in DC for a while. He's also known Biden when he was a senator, so they've known each other for a while, which is probably good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, some things he wants to do. He wants to push for immediate COVID legislation as soon as he gets into office. Makes sense. And it's basically stuff like using the Defense Production Act to make tests and other treatments. He also wants to, as part of the COVID-19 relief package he wants to pass, Biden has called for at least a $10,000 in student loan debt to be canceled for all Americans.
Only 10,000?
I mean, I'll take $10,000 if I don't have to pay $10,000 in my student debt.
Is that $10,000 for every student, or is that $10,000 that the government is going to give? Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was like, what the fuck?
Imagine the $1 trillion that everyone owns. Yeah, $10,000 real quick.
How much actually would that knock off if 10,000? I mean, again, it's nowhere near enough. He could 100% cancel everyone's debts if he wanted
to. We'll get there in a second, actually.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, Biden has weirdly been pro-ish free college for a while now.
Can you drop this article in chat just so I can look at it too?
Yeah, this is just NPR. Oh, that's the wrong chat, LMAO. Sorry, folks. But yeah, basically he wants to give a COVID relief package, which, yeah, good job. He has a plan to release vaccines. Basically, he wants all vaccines to be free. Good.
I'm so sad.
And yeah, he's gonna, I think, appoint someone to do that as well. He's gonna rejoin the WHO and listen to Fauci more. Also good. He on the economy, he wants to reverse Trump's corporate tax cut. So he's going to revert it back from 21% to 28%. It could be higher, but at least I'll go back to the not as bad one. He wants to make the U.S. an international leader on climate change, yada yada yada. Extends the Voting Rights Act. Apparently, I don't know. This got shot down in the Senate during Trump's administration. I'm not sure necessarily what it is. But I think it's just supposed to strengthen generally the Voting Rights Act.
Extend the Voting Rights Act. I'm let me actually look at this. I'm assuming this means strengthen the legal language so that it further protects black communities and stuff from being exploited, kind of like voter ID laws or whatever, but because I remember, I think it was here actually where they were trying to end gerrymandering, and then like the legal language was vague enough and the actual policy didn't actually protect black communities. It just like further entrenched gerrymandering, so everybody was like, fuck that. So I'm assuming that that's what this is like, but let me take a look at it. Keep talking.
Yeah. In good news with immigration especially, Trump made a dumb move in his administration, and basically everything he's done on immigration has been through executive actions. So really all Biden has to do is just cancel that out with his own executive action and basically just not have it happen again. And that really goes from everything from the separation child policy to even who built the cages, Joe? So whatever they're doing in the cages or whatever they're not doing as well will be theoretically canceled. And also Biden, like he said in the debate, wants to introduce a bill into the House and Senate to allow 11 million undocumented immigrants to gain a path to citizenship.
Wait, real quick, does that mean they're going to stop using the cages at the border, or does that mean they're just not going to keep kids in them? Fuck me, dude.
I don't know the specifics of that.
Are we really so like fucked as a society where we think?
I'm assuming. I honestly, assuming at least his tone and wanting to give legal citizenship to 11 million migrants, I'd assume, hopefully, the optimistic side says probably not. The pessimistic side says he'll probably use them like they did in the Obama administration, where they used it
Jeez,
almost as a
dude.
stage ground.
That's so fucked. Like it's so weird to me that like we're at a point in civilization, quote unquote, where we think that it's okay to keep human beings in cages like animals because they've crossed an imaginary arbitrary line without signing a paper. That's so fucking weird to me that everybody's just okay with it. They're like, yeah, Obama did it because he was going to deport people. He didn't do it as much. But like, why the fuck are we doing it to begin with? That's so strange.
It is a weird thing that came out of the GOP, especially in the 90s, because you can actually even go back to presidential debates between George H.W. Bush and Ronald Reagan. And they weren't like open border people, but like they also weren't like very closed off. A lot of them were just like, yeah, we should have a pretty easy time for migrants to come over. You know, there shouldn't be like any physical barrier, which it's a very weird thing to listen to. Ronald Reagan say that. Uh,
Also, real quick, in regards to the Voting Rights Act,
yeah,
it looks like the sections that were shot down were 4 and 5, which required that it says key parts of the Act, Section 4 and 5 required that jurisdictions with a history of racial discrimination seek federal approval before changing their voting laws. So, like, Section 4 laid out exactly what history of racial discrimination means, and then Section 5 just says those sections have to consult federally before they can do anything, which is fair. I think it's
yeah,
pretty fucking fair.
yeah.
But yeah,
It's not even like you can't like have like a sound definition of racial discrimination. That
yeah.
is they gave you one. Here's some of the things that Biden wants to do within his first 100 days. Uh, Police reform. Uh,
What kind of police reform?
Apparently, he wants to do a national police oversight commission.
Well, let's look at that.
This has a hyperlink in the
Yeah,
article
yeah, I'm
to
looking at
CNN.
that. Yeah.
You can read through that to see the specifics.
Yep. You keep
Uh,
doing your thing.
Yeah, it's part of his larger plan to help overhaul policing, including investing $300 million into community policing measures. I'm pretty sure that's what he means by. I think it was on his website that he mentioned having social workers go on like mental health calls with police officers, and they take the lead. He also wants the Justice Department to investigate more uh, just police misconducts in general. So that looks interesting, but I guess we're going to see the details here in a second about that. Uh, More criminal justice reform. Uh, uh, on the grounds of foreign policy, Biden's going to try to, it looks like, rebuild some of our democratic alliances, especially with our European allies. So I like that personally. So some other potentially early policy steps laid out here. Uh, Kind of like how Trump said he wanted to buy American in the sense that like he wants the federal government to only buy stuff from America, but then he didn't do that because it was too expensive. Biden actually wants to do that, and some reason I just trust Biden more that he'll at least attempt to do that. Uh, I don't know why I don't trust Trump. I don't know. It's a little something. Uh, we've already talked about Biden's climate plan. Biden wants to make a public option for Medicare for the ACA. I'm not sure this is a public option in the sense of usually what people mean by public option, where like it's free healthcare from the government, but you get to choose to opt in and out of it. But to be fair, we don't really know the fate of the ACA right now because it still has to go through the Supreme Court. But it looks like the ACA will live, but the individual mandate may die. We shall see. Uh, and I think the biggest thing is Biden has some education plans, and I think the biggest thing is that he expressed support for the College for All Act that was proposed by the one and only Bernie Sanders.
King.
And basically, Biden wants to eliminate tuition at public colleges for families that make $125,000 or less. This includes community colleges and 4 years as well. He also says Biden also advocates for private historically Black colleges and universities and minority-serving institutions to be tuition-free as well. Which I think is honestly probably the most shocking thing that like is on this list. Because like Biden didn't even mention college tuition reform at all throughout his campaign.
Wouldn't it be awesome if he actually ran on policies that would help the working class rather than just saying, "Hey guys, hey, I'm not like that guy."
Yeah. And it's weird because like I thought this was just a position he adopted recently to like make progressives like him, but no, I was watching his Wired autocomplete interview from like May, and he also mentioned it there. So I don't know, maybe he actually believes in it, which would at least be something. Chuck Schumer actually talked to a reporter, and he wants Biden to be very aggressive in his first 100 days. I don't think he will be, but you know.
Me neither. I don't think aggressive is a trait that liberals are known for.
Yeah, especially Biden. Yeah. But Schumer apparently has been talking to Biden and is at least a little confident in saying that some things besides COVID he'll be focusing on are obviously climate, a $15 minimum wage. But one thing another student-related one thing, apparently Biden has the authority to cancel the first $50,000 of student debt for every American.
He has the authority to cut out all debt.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But apparently Schumer and Elizabeth Warren have been pressuring Biden to at least do the first 50,000, and then they can do the rest through legal action via the law, so it's a bit more sturdy. Also, $15 minimum wage. I'm not sure if I said that. I think that's also something he could theoretically do via executive order. He could do a lot of things via executive order. And unless we win the Georgia runoffs in January, then he's going to have to do a lot of things via executive order. So I think that's generally at least neutrally positive news from the Biden camp.
I don't know how I feel about doing things via executive order, only because, like, not because there's anything morally wrong with it. I think if you can help people, fucking help people. And I 100% think that in regards to, like, canceling student debt, fucking do that straight away.
I mean, I know basically all my friends personally would either pay no student loans basically at that point or very little student loans.
100%. Dude,
any loans.
100%. If you can cancel student loans, definitely. Yeah. My biggest concern with executive orders on a more general level is just, from what I've seen, a lot of them don't tend to stick, or at least when in regards to, like, you know, the fascism that is sweeping our nation at the current moment. If next election we get another fascist boy in office, it could 100% be reversed. So I don't know about all that.
Yeah, I think that's why Biden wants to try to do some things via, like, through laws and stuff, so it's a bit more like it'll stick.
If they real quick, if they were to cancel student debt, could they undo that?
That is something I'm honestly not sure about, because it'd be a little weird to be like, all right, you owe no more money. And then, like 4 years later,
and then all of a sudden now you owe us $20,000. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, to answer your question, Danica, yeah, that would also affect people currently in college. So right now, for me, for example, I think I owe around $24,000 to $26,000 in student debts. I would owe nothing, and that's it.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Fuck, man, it could,
unless they change the language of what they're talking about, but I don't know.
Yeah, it could be so much more, dude. We could have it all. Fucking, but this is the problem with fucking libs, is they'll throw out these fucking handouts, these what's the phrase I'm looking for?
Half measures.
They'll throw out these fucking half measures to, like, temper the population, and then they'll keep going right back to doing absolutely fucking nothing. So I'm honestly really looking forward to bullying Biden. I'm like giddy inside with the thought of like looking at Biden cancel $10,000 of student debt and be like, that's it? That's all you're going to do? Like, there are families that are cripplingly in debt because they just wanted their kids to have an education. And you're like, we'll throw them a little bone. Like, fuck you. You have the power to do so much more. You have the power to like genuinely make people's lives like so much better and like give them some sort of hope for the future. Canceling student debt would be such a like godsend for so many families. And he's like, it's not like the government's itching for money. It's dude, it's fucking insane.
One more piece of news before we get into the honestly pretty good news, in my opinion at least, and that's the Georgia special elections. It's official that both David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler will be going into the runoffs with Raphael Warnock, that's against Loeffler, and then Jon Ossoff, that is going against David Perdue. And right now, the Democrats are fundraising like there's no tomorrow, especially Stacey Abrams, who I think also announced her candidacy for the 2022 governorship.
Let's go! Let's go! Stacey Abrams!
And I think she has a very decent chance at winning. But
Let's go! Stacey Abrams!
I think the Democrats have a very legitimate and good chance to win in Georgia. I'm not saying the Republicans are going to lose. Let's get that clear. But I do think the Democrats have a very good chance. I think it's still most likely going to probably at least one seat's going to go to the GOP.
Which I think Raphael Warnock
I think Raphael Warnock will have the better chance against the GOP besides than Jon Ossoff. But I mean, it's not really impossible for both of them to win, especially in the current scenario. And I've seen a lot of people, especially even people like Sanders, who are just like, hey, we need like a single message to push in Georgia. And I think that message is going to be a $15 minimum wage because apparently a $15 minimum wage is popular. Who knew? I really hope the Democrats can just get this one thing right. If we look at Florida, a state that voted Trump by 300,000 votes, voted for $15 minimum wage, 60%. You know, that's a super majority. So the conservative state of Florida voted for a $15 minimum wage. I imagine the people who are making federal minimum wage in Georgia would really like $15 an hour right now.
It's almost like people give more of a shit about policy than not being Trump. I'm so angry. I'm so fucking angry at the Democratic Party, dude. Progressive policies. It's not just in Florida. All across the country. Literally across the country.
South Dakota legalized marijuana.
Yeah. All across the country, either progressive policies or progressive sounding policies, like Prop 22 in California. Obviously, it wasn't progressive, but it seemed like it was. All across the country, progressive policies have swept. Like, this was such a big win in terms of policy. But the Democrats weren't interested in running on policy. They were interested in running on the Republican Party. They're a little too mean. I don't like it when they're mean. And they fucking got shit on.
I think one good thing the Democrats have going for them is that Biden has publicly expressed interest in doing a $15 minimum wage, like no questions asked about it as well. You know, in the debate, I remember like Biden's like, yeah, we should do a $15 minimum wage. And Trump's like, oh yeah? And Biden's like, yeah.
Democrats need to be more like that with everything. Yeah. They need to be unapologetically working for the working class. That's insane. It's so nuts to me that people will be like, I don't want to be too fucking Abigail Spanberger will be like, I don't want to be too progressive. I don't want to do good things for good people. I would rather not, because then they can call me a socialist. If they say some shit like you're a socialist and obviously you're not, just be like, okay, I'm not a fucking socialist. This guy's an absolute moron. I just want, I don't know, police to do good.
Yeah,
they're fucking
don't
crazy.
Want police
dude.
To shoot people.
Democrats are the dumbest fucking people on the face of the planet. They're still running like it's 1995, and they're afraid of. They're confused on why they lost.
Yeah, they're still reeling after the Republican Revolution of '94.
Yeah, I would die for Stacey Abrams and people like socialist ideas, but hate the word socialist. Both true, chat.
Yeah.
Wow, true.
Wow, based chat.
Based.
So let's get into some, I think, my opinion, good news, and that is with, ironically, COVID-19. Some very bad news, actually, is that we keep breaking records. Like no tomorrow.
USA.
States are running out of hospital beds. Both Texas and California have passed 1 million cases. But we got a vaccine.
Ish.
Pfizer came out and said that their vaccine was 90% positive.
Is it Pfizer? I thought it was just Pfizer.
I think it's Pfizer. I don't know.
Pfizer.
Pfizer.
Okay.
But Pfizer came out and said our vaccine is 90% effective. And they said they're on track to get emergency approval by the end of the month. And they'll probably start rolling out emergency use dosages by December. And they're expected to have at least anywhere from like 15 to like 25 million dosages of the vaccine by the end of the year. And
which is good because 15 to 25 million people will be the only ones who haven't been infected by COVID-19 at that point.
Yeah. But the reason I'm optimistic is because Dr. Fauci did an interview with Wolf Blitzer on CNN, and Blitzer asked him about it. And Fauci was basically like, oh no, I think it was with Jake Tapper, but besides the point. Jake Tapper was just like, when do you think the average person, the average young person who doesn't have any other outlining issues would get it? And Fauci said realistically probably by April. Pfizer said they will probably have enough dosages for every American by early April.
That's good.
They claim that they'll have 1.3 billion dosages of the vaccine by the end of next year.
That's actually really shocking. I mean, they're saying that they'll have a vaccine ready within a year of the virus taking hold.
Yeah. I mean, it's because Pfizer and even Moderna, who's basically come out to say the exact same thing, they're using a different technique that's new, and it doesn't require on like the old way of vaccines where you can basically just give a dosage of the virus to someone. And I think this way, it's weird, but it's kind of like it manipulates your DNA to think that you've already had the virus when you haven't. So it's like a safer way, theoretically speaking, and it's faster. We don't know how long the immunization lasts, though. There's a possibility that you have to get it seasonally, like the flu shot, which I mean, it's like whatever. It's honestly, the flu shot takes 5 minutes to get, so I don't know why that's really an issue for me.
And hopefully by April we'll also have a thing where we'll have more ready treatments like for the flu.
Yeah. And another positive, because I know a lot of people were concerned because like it may have been associated with the Trump administration. Pfizer came out and said they opted out of Operation Warp Speed.
What was Operation Warp Speed?
That was Trump's plan to kind of speed up a vaccine production and then speed it out.
Because that's what we need for a vaccine, is something rushed and sloppy.
Yeah. Pfizer has gotten, I think, a lot of its money from like Germany. So I think that makes sense. I think they actually are a German company. And it's not even technically Pfizer's vaccine. It's like biotech labs or something like that. Pfizer is just going to manufacture it. But yeah, it's, in my opinion, some really good news. Even if we don't actually see it in April, we're definitely going to probably see it by spring, if not early summer. And yeah, I think that's good. And 90% effectiveness rate is better than, not having immunization at all. And I think if I'm not mistaken, the number that needs to be immunized to quote reach herd immunity is around 60% or something like that. But I may be wrong about that, or maybe it's 70. So, but there's gonna be anti-vaxxers all over the goddamn place.
Yeah, but we could just like
natural selection,
eugenics.
Wait, hold on. What?
What? Eugenics? Who said that? What?
Chat, come on.
That's insane. Eugenics?
Yeah.
Why would they say that in the chat?
Yeah, come on. Chat,
you goofy fellas,
you.
you.
So yeah,
real quick, just I don't think we have much else to talk about, but just to kind of cap things off with the best news possible. We're just gonna. We found an article. Here are all the lawsuits the Trump campaign has filed since Election Day and why most are unlikely to go anywhere. And we're just going to read it. We're just going to fucking go down the list and just be really happy in the fact that he's losing big time. Pennsylvania. To compel Philadelphia election officials to stop counting ballots. Dismissed! To compel state election officials to allow Trump campaign officials closer observation of the counting process. So this one just means that they can watch people count, ruled in the campaign's favor. Compelled the Secretary of State in all 67 counties to impose an earlier date for voters to show proof of identification. This one was in favor. What was that? This was just like basically voter ID laws, right? Yeah, so that a little bit of an L there, but we don't need to worry about that because the next one, to compel the Montgomery County Board of Elections to stop counting mail-in ballots, denied.
Get the fuck out of here.
Intervene in an already existing dispute. So this one is about the ballots that the state received after 8 on Election Day. So like mail-in ballots and stuff like that, whether those should be counted. The state Supreme Court said, of course they should. So they tried to take it to SCOTUS. The first time SCOTUS was like, we're not going to rule on it before the election. And then the second time they were like, okay, we're still not going to rule on it, but maybe see us after class. And they're saying that SCOTUS is still unlikely to even hear the case. And even if they do and they vote in favor of Trump, it won't matter because he has, in this category, there's fewer than 10,000 ballots and Trump is behind Biden by 45,000 votes.
Actually, there was, I think, an update to that. Justice Alito basically said, fine, you can count the ballots separately and like quarantine them. But you still have to count the ballots.
Yeah, that's what they did. They made a ruling to like separate them.
Yeah. He was basically just said follow the Secretary of State's rules on that. Fucking conservative cucks.
They tried to stop 7 counties from certifying the election results. Why is this? Alleging state officials created 2-tiered system to ensure Biden would win the state by allowing vote by mail. A violation of the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause. This seems weird. Litigation is ongoing. Legal experts have said it's unlikely the case will succeed. Hansen wrote in The Atlantic that the claims are ludicrous. Fantastic. To stop Bucks County from counting mail-in ballots. I know this one said denied here somewhere. Oh no, litigation is ongoing. Okay, so that's Pennsylvania. Basically, nothing of note. Nevada, impose an injunction on the automated signature verified machines as ballots continue to be counted. A federal judge rejected the request.
Get that shit out of here.
Compel state election officials to allow the public closer observation. I think this was also just to have them watch it. A district judge rejected. Oh no, they wanted them to stop counting until they could watch it. That's fucking nuts. Rejected.
Get the fuck out of here.
Michigan. Halt counting of absentee ballots on the grounds that the campaign officials have not been given access. Denied.
Get the fuck out of here.
Halt certification of election results in Detroit, Michigan's largest city and a Democratic stronghold. Judge Timothy Kenney denied.
Get the fuck out of here.
Halt certification of election results because of voter fraud. Where is it? An examination of the affidavits found no evidence of fraud.
That's crazy. Wasn't that one postal worker who lied? Was he from Pennsylvania or Michigan?
Are you talking about the Project Veritas, dude?
Yes.
Oh my god, that shit was so fucking brain dead, dude. If you guys don't know, Project Veritas put out like a the investigative journalist absolutely verified information all the time truth tellers.
Yeah, They crushed Russiagate or cracked Russiagate
wide open. Yeah. So
when Vanjo said it was a nothing burger, crazy.
So they had a dude who came in and he was like, I heard my supervisor in the voting place say some are for the 3rd, but most of them are for the 4th. And I'm pretty sure that means that some ballots were marked wrong, but he wanted to mark them right because they were voting for Biden. And he said that in an affidavit, right?
Yeah.
Then, because it's Project Veritas, this got to the actual U.S. government. So the Postal Service started looking into these claims, and when they investigated him, he recanted the statement big time. And Project Veritas actually put out like the 2-hour audio clip of the interview or the interrogation that they had, and the Postal Service like explained to him his characterization of the situation, which is basically, okay, so you heard some are for the 3rd and some are for the 4th, and you assumed that meant some ballots are marked for the 3rd, some ballots are marked for the 4th, and that those are for Joe Biden. But this is not based in any like factual interpretation. And then he was just like, yeah, I don't know, I guess I maybe heard it, but there's a possibility that it could also not be the case. But crazy. Interesting note, Project Veritas actually compelled that dude to make a GoFundMe for himself, which is really interesting because the dude works for like, the dude is like a middle class fucking probably lower middle class worker. So this dude is now on a national scale with this money sitting in this bank and fucking Project Veritas breathing down his neck. So he unrecanted the statement. He recanted the recant.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Just fuck. Project Veritas has no level of journalistic ethicality, integrity.
Yeah.
Project Veritas sucks. Yeah, they have nothing. We don't need to go through this list anymore. I think we're pretty much the only thing left is Arizona, and obviously fuck you.
Yeah, fun fact, by the way. I think Biden actually won Nevada by a bigger margin than Clinton did in 2016. So,
fun fact.
There you go.
That's all I got. You got anything?
No, I don't think so. I think it's been a more fun episode.
Yeah, definitely.
Very informative.
We're definitely not as doomer vibes. If you're still watching on stream right now, on our live stream, stick around. We're going to end the show here, but we're not going to end the stream. We got more shit coming right at you, baby.
The pipeline.
Yeah, so the alt-left pipeline. So
yep, that's exactly it.
Stay in stream. Everybody watching at home, everybody watching the VOD, thank you so much for watching or listening to the newest episode of the Zero Budget Podcast live, although not live for you. Make sure to follow us, subscribe to us, whatever you need to do on your platform to keep up to date with us. Make sure to like, comment, do all that dumb shit. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram. Eat some cereal. Drink some tea, and live your life one step at a time. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
All right, I'm gonna fuck with you. Bye.
Bye-bye.